Well, guys, an article out of the New York Post has a lot of residents in Florida very upset currently. The headline in that article reading, Florida's crumbling home prices haven't been this bad since 2011. And they take a look at some of the worst hit metros for price declines in Q3 of 2024. Wouldn't you guys know which one's at the top? Punta Gorda, Florida, with a 6.5% price decline. And we'll take a look through that as well, just kind of show you what they're pulling there. But it's not really a surprise to anybody who has been in the area, or if you guys have been following my channel. I've sort of been screaming this from the mountaintops for the past year. People told me I'm crazy, prices are not gonna come down, inventory's not gonna go up. We've seen all the opposite of those things happen. And now the national media is recognizing it. I had a friend message me the other day and say, what is Florida becoming, like the housing punching bag? And a little bit it is. I mean, we've had some of really the only price declines, never mind the biggest, but only price declines in the country. We've had some of the largest inventory increases, though places in Texas are beating us out, and I'll go into that as well. The reaction locally has been, it's been a little surprising to me. I don't like when people lose money, but I also don't like when people can't afford to live. And in my view, price declines on housing is a good thing for the area. New construction is a good thing for the area. People building more homes, adding to the inventory is good for the area, but not everyone feels that way. I understand that. I saw a couple of social media posts very, very, very angry with the city of Northport specifically for allowing so many new homes to be built. They were very mad at the permitting department, the city commissioners, saying that by allowing this to happen, they're diluting their home equity. And I think that's a little ridiculous. I think it's a little ridiculous. In my opinion, first off, equity doesn't matter unless you're gonna sell or leverage. I understand if you're gonna sell, you don't want negative equity. Absolutely, nobody wants to lose money, but you're almost advocating for keeping prices unaffordable and home prices artificially high by not issuing permits so you can have more wealth in your homeownership portfolio. I don't operate that way. I understand people do, but me personally, I'd much rather see what's going on. Basically, more building, more available housing for the local population who lives and works here. We love retirees, guys. We love you snowbirds down here. You make our economy go round, but we need places for local people to live in Florida, and they've been priced out of a lot of them. So to see price declines in my area like this, and even Northport, as I mentioned to you guys, Northport's inventory very, very high, and they are seeing price declines because they're building like crazy. To me, is a good thing overall. I think we need it, so I don't agree with that viewpoint. And we'll jump in and take a look at all this data here, guys, so you can see exactly what they're referencing, but I will also link the article and any subsequent article in the description below if you guys want to check it out yourself. So this is the New York Post article, guys. Florida's crumbling home prices haven't been this bad since 2011. So they did mention Punta Gorda, but they also brought Sarasota into this conversation as well. And they go on to state data from the National Association of Realtors paints a grim picture. You guys know the deal with Punta Gorda, but let's take a look at all the metros. So guys, as you can see, the metros on a national level, Punta Gorda is #1 in the country according to this chart, with a 6.5% price decline in Q3, followed by Northport, Sarasota, Bradenton at 5.8. And then we go down to Cape Coral here, is midway through the list. And we also have Gainesville and Crestview, Fort Walton Beach, Destin area. Now, look at this. You need $97,000 income to purchase in Punta Gorda, $134,000 in Northport, Sarasota, and Bradenton. And this is why we're seeing some of the price declines, because you generally can't get these type of wages down here. When you had remote workers doing it, it was possible, but now it's very hard for the vast majority of homeowners in the area to support these prices at these interest rates and with that income needed. Make no mistake, guys, when they put those headlines out there, they are referring to price declines are similar to 2011. Certainly not prices. Prices are nowhere near 2011 pricing, though I have mentioned before, if you factor in inflation, in my specific area right now, you could get pretty close to what pricing should be with, say, 3 to 5% annual appreciation instead of the madness that we've seen, over the previous 5 years. They're getting pretty close once you factor in the cost of the money. The real kicker, that's price-wise, the real kicker and what's exacerbating the issue is the money's not cheap anymore. So the cost to borrow it is so much higher, as you guys know. It's, if you've got cash purchases, you can probably get close to inflation-adjusted prices and what it's going to cost you to carry. You're going to have higher taxes, higher insurance than you would have in 2019 in some areas, in most areas here. But carrying a mortgage is just rough right now. And that is why this isn't just happening in Florida. It's not just happening in Southwest Florida where there was a hurricane. It's very, very expensive to mortgage a home just about anywhere right now. This is kind of a busy road. Let's see if I can not get run over today. The snowbirds are back in town and they are not very attentive. I'm gonna step off here. They're not very attentive to pedestrians on the walkway, we'll put it that way. They tend to see you at the very last second and swerve out of the way. God bless anyone who rides a motorcycle down here or a bicycle on US 41. You are, hats off to you. Hats staying on, but hats off to you because you like to live dangerously, in my opinion. Now, when I first started talking about this a year ago, raising the alarm on the inventory buildup and the price declines I saw coming, which have now happened and are knowledge to everyone, it was pretty much swept under the rug as it, hey, this is an anomaly in Southwest Florida. You guys just got hit by a hurricane. Of course this is gonna happen. Your insurance is going through the roof. This is not endemic of the entire country or the entire state. But as you guys know from my Florida stats video I put out a few days ago, sales are down in the entire state and inventory is climbing statewide, and it's echoing what we saw here in Southwest Florida last year. So I think it is going to start spreading statewide, and it's not just Florida now, guys. You know what's going on with Texas and other areas. In fact, according to an article from Realty Club, 8 states are now back above pre-pandemic levels of inventory, and Florida's not the highest one. We're not up there. Those include Texas, Florida, Arizona, and Tennessee. They're just leading the way currently. And as you guys know, we are well past pre-pandemic levels of inventory in my area, in the state as well. Condos and single-family homes have gone past what we had listed in 2019. Now, I do always preface that with the fact that 2019 was still kind of a seller's market. So, you know, it is a buyer's market now because the demand is so much lower. That's what makes this whole cycle interesting here, is we have basically the same amount of homes statewide, but we just don't have the demand when you can't get a 3-4% mortgage. Go figure. So this is the article by Realty Club Analytics. 8 states are back above pre-pandemic housing inventory levels. These 3 states are likely next. And nationally, active listings are on the rise, up 29% between October of 23 and October of 24. But that still remains 21% below the 2019 inventory levels on a national scale. And as you can see here on this nationwide map, from 2019 to 2024, Florida has had a 10% increase in active listings. Texas has 13%, Tennessee has 14%, Arizona has 11%, bucking the trend of much of the rest of the country, as you guys can see, which is mostly down quite severely in other areas, except here out in the Midwest a little bit. And the 8 states that have gone back to pre-pandemic levels are listed here: Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Idaho, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, and Utah. They also believe Alabama, Oregon, and Washington are up next. So it's not just here. There's been a huge pullback in housing nationwide, and things that occurred here that seemed irrational and, you know, as a one-off are now starting to pop up everywhere in the country. Even rental vacancy has increased across the country, though recently there was an article that suggested that that's going to stop soon. People are absorbing all these multifamily units they're building, but I don't know about that either, because there's literally thousands of rentals in my county, and there shouldn't be. There's way too many. There's thousands of rentals in every area I look in. And I guess you guys tell me all the time in the comments, they're building apartments all over the country. So I think there's gonna be a lot that needs to be absorbed. That is what I got for today, guys. If you like this video, give me a like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.